Hello everyone and welcome to this week's video tutorial. This would be the start of a new series of lectures introducing the elephant opening for red. So without further ado, let us begin. Now, by default, e3 plus 5 is played as the first move for the elephant opening, although e7 plus 5 is also considered the same. Now, developing the elephant to the edge file is considered unorthodox, so that is almost never seen in actual play. Now, the elephant opening, it has the characteristics of a slow-paced opening for red, whereby instead of attacking directly or immediately as with the central cannon, red would opt to consolidate his defenses and develop his material in a balanced fashion or manner, and consolidate his position before looking for chances to attack. The elephant opening was first made very popular by the legendary Grandmaster Hu Ronghua back in the 1960s. He has a string of very impressive victories using this opening. And in more recent times, the current world number one, Grandmaster Wenqing, is also well known for playing the elephant opening. The elephant opening is also one of the many secret weapons of the Shanghai team. So there are many counters to the elephant opening. Now in this few videos, we will be discussing Black playing the left central cannon left central cannon. This is perhaps the most commonly seen opening or counter against the elephant opening. Other options would be to play the cross palace cannon or the pal corner cannon. Now, usually c8 equals to 5 is played, although c2 equals to 5 is also possible. Now, the reason for playing c8 equals to 5 is that because red had moved the elephant over here, this elephant had not moved. So with c8 equals to 5, black would retain the option of playing c2 equals to 3 to attack this elephant, which is one of the most commonly used tactics by black. With the central cannon opening, black would hope to adopt an aggressive approach to the game, trying to beat red's slow, firm but steady pace with an aggressive and rapid attack. Now, usually the attack will be focused on the central file, and black would try his best to find many options to apply pins, etc., to red, who will be more concerned with developing his material. This is quite a flexible attack, and usually it's the favorite of many aggressive players. Now, in the Xiangqi opening theory, uh, because black had played the central cannon, red would usually try to go for the screen horse defense or sandwich horse defense formation. In this case, the sandwich horse formation is adopted because, theoretically speaking, the screen horse defense is a viable counter against the central cannon if played as black. So with now the colors reversed, theoretically it will be even more to red's favor because red will have the first move initiative. Now, so that is why when playing against the left central cannon, one of the most popular counters would be red playing the screen horse defense. The sandwich horse defense will be introduced in a later video. So this would also be one of the major defining characteristics of this opening system. And usually, black would play p7 plus 1 to prevent the horse from developing. Now, this is the preferred p7 plus 1. This is the preferred move pawn for black at this point in time. And this is also the position of discussion. Sorry. Now, if p3 plus 1 were played, red would get the opportunity. He usually called it p3 plus 1. As black develops his material, red will push his cannon across the river, and he will be able to usually attack with the double pawn rank cannons. Now this is one of the most aggressive and powerful counters for the screen horse defense if played as black, coupled with the fact that now red had already played the elephant for his first move and thereby consolidating the central file. Uh, Red is often considered to have this advantage at this point in time because the cannons will now have formed a blockade, limiting the development of black's material, and black would not have succeeded in his original intentions of developing material faster than black. So that is one reason why p3 plus 1 is usually not played and p7 plus 1 is played instead. Now this will be the position of discussion. Faced with this move, two main variations are discussed. One would be p7 plus 1 whereby red counters or retaliates in a similar fashion. The other would be to play the to move the cannon to the edge file to develop the chariot. So in variation A, p7 plus 1 is played as red would now prepare to develop his left horse. Now black would one of the many counters would be black playing c2 equals to 3, which is a very direct threat on this horse since the pawn had moved. This is the most commonly seen method of play, and with this move, black hopes to cancel the effects of this pawn and also threaten the horse at this point in time. Now, if black was successful, he could advance his horse to the riverbank early for a fast and rapid counter attack. Now, with the cannon targeting the horse, this horse, it would not be a good idea because there would always be the threat of, for example, if the horse moved here, there will always be the threat of the chariot attacking, etc. And because the cannon was now still attacking this file and targeting the elephant, this would add some pressure on red's bottom rank. So c2 equals 3 is a very aggressive counter by black, and this would also create opportunities for black to advance his horse, his own horse in the game. So usually red would develop his horse to the edge file, and thus allow black to play h7 plus 6 to develop his horse to the central file, and one obvious target to attack would be to capture the central pawn, again the central pawn very early on. Red would usually move the left advisor so that he could take care of both flanks. It will be one move that will be beneficial for both, beneficial to black on both the attacking and defensive end. Now, if a4 plus 5 were played, now let's see what would happen. Red would not want to trade material. I'll check. And black prepares to play r1 equals to 8 to target this flank. Now, because the advisor was a4 plus 5 and not a6 plus 5, it would be vulnerable to checks by the black chariot when attacking this flank. So black would have the initiative. So that is why a4 plus 5 is not as good as a6 plus 5 in this situation. So let's say r8 plus 6, black will start attacking. Again, attacking the central pawn. Now, this would be a more direct approach. If h6 plus 4 were played, the chariot would now be able to attack and be prepared to allow black to go for the elbow horse, whereby the horse would be trapped, and black will now counter aggressively and apply a lot of pressure on this flank. Now, the development of black's material right flank was too slow. Now, this is one of the downsides of playing the central cannon in this situation, and it will be very difficult for black to mount a efficient offensive at this point in time. So that is why h6 plus 4 would not be a good idea, because the black horse will be attacking without much assistance, and these two pieces will not be able to do much at this point in time. So h6 plus 5 will be a more direct approach, whereby black will now command the central file if red accepted, and he will be able to consolidate his defense in the process. That is why red will usually not accept the trade and instead offer a trade of material. And after trading material, red would have a better development of the pieces. All his major pieces has moved, but black's chariot and horse have not moved yet. And this flank is rather empty and vulnerable. So red would have be better in the development of pieces and have an easier time ahead. And because a6+5 was played, the threat of this cannon would be greatly diminished because there will now it will not be possible for black to go for a smarter cannon checkmate. So that is why if p7+1 were played, red will play p7+1 and counter instead. Now in variation B, red will develop his left cannon to the edge file for development of his left chariot, which is quite characteristic of the elephant opening, whereby red will seek a balanced development of his pieces. Black will usually counter h2+1, which is a proven and safe and reliable counter. Now h2+3 is also often seen, but red will play r9 equals to 8 and immediately start attacking this horse. Even if black offered a trade on material, this is quite a commonly seen combination. The horse would now have moved. Now coupled with the fact that red had played e3+5 for his first move, this elephant would be protected. So any cannon attack on this file would not be as threatening as if the elephants were not linked. Now red could simply move his chariot to save over here. Is r7 equals to 6 should c1 equals to 3 be played, and red would have a significant advantage. And with h7+6, there is always c9 equals to 7 to try to gain material, so red would have an advantage in this situation. That is why h2+3 is not so commonly seen. Instead, black would play h2+1. r9 equals to 8 to threaten the cannon, trade of material, and red will play aggressively with the cross riverbank chariot. Again, black goes for 5-7 cannons to offer a trade of chariots. Now this is a pawn sacrifice for the initiative. It would not be a good idea to try to protect the pawn in this manner because red will play p7+1, and the poor positioning of this chariot will become an obvious target for black to attack. Now black would be placed in a dilemma. If it did not trade chariots, red will capture it and play, for example, if black did not capture it, let's say he moved r2+6, red will capture, trade chariots, and now red will be attacking this flank mercilessly. This horse will not have many good places to move, perhaps to retreat, but in doing so, black will lose tempo. So red will claim and secure the advantage in this position. So that is why c2 equals to 3 is black's aggressive method of trying to gain the initiative. Red accepts, targets the horse, forcing black to the centroid position. And black would now push p1+1 forward to try to develop his horse to attack this flank. Now each color would have his scruples, but black can be satisfied with this situation. So a short recap of the opening is black, elephant opening, left central cannon. By the left, when we say that this left central cannon is the same cannon that's moved in the same flank as the elephant. By default, it's called 左中炮, so that is why it has been translated as the left as the left central cannon. So far so good. Red adopts the screenhouse defense formation for this opening, which is the topic of discussion for the first two videos. p7+1, if p3+1, Red will have a chance to apply the double pawn rank cannons variation. Position of discussion, variation A, p7 plus 1, variation B, c equals to 9. With p7 plus 1, Red will try to mobilize this horse. c2 equals to 3 to attack, moving the horse to the edge, to the external rib file. Black starts to attack at the expense of underdevelopment of his right flank. Red takes his time. Black attacks the central pawn because if a6 plus 4, the horse and chariot cannot form a very efficient attack. c2 equals to 1. After trading material, Red would have enjoy a much better development of his pieces and consolidated his defenses already. Variation B, c8 equals to 9, as Red tries to develop this chariot. The time proven edge horse variation, a very aggressive R8 plus 5, and offering a trade on material. And both colors will have its scruples. So this would be the first video introducing the elephant opening versus the left central cannon. So if you like the work that I've been doing, please do subscribe to this channel and tune in for more videos on this topic. Thank you. And again, I would like to express my gratitude and appreciation to Master Wenqing and Grandmaster Zhang for allowing me to translate their work and produce these videos. Thank you.